Okay, here we have that battery that I pulled out of that old truck, and I popped the caps off, and as you can see, the acid is still up to level, but I mean the battery sat for a really long time, and I tried to charge it and it wouldn't charge, so we're going to try to do the Epsom salt deal on it and see if that'll work. Desulfate the battery, I guess it's called. So anyway, I'll go ahead and pour this out. You want to be careful not to get this on your hands or your clothes. This battery acid. Probably can't see it like I can, but looking in here, there's a fair amount of corrosion built up. So it's kind of what happens when a battery sits. So we'll go ahead and add our salt solution and see if it'll clean it up. But anyway, that's where we are as of now. Alright, so here we have our Epsom salt solution. And I have 2 more containers. It should take about 4 of these, but I have about 30 to 40% of this Epsom salt dissolved in here. So quite a darn bit. As you can see, it's real cloudy. So the idea with this stuff is you put it in, you put the battery on really low trickle charge for like 3 to 4 or 5 days, and if it charges back up, then you know it worked. And again, you only do this with batteries that won't charge. So it's kind of like a really interesting thing, because this, you could grab a battery that's been sitting around for 20 years, like this truck's been sitting out there. I talked to someone the other day for, about 10 years. They've just kind of moved it around with the forklift, so I guess pulled it around, they didn't lift it up. But anyway, so it'll be a good test to see if this works on this battery here. So, there's no real exact science to it, just fill one cell, move to the next. So we'll probably add some more of this at some point. I'm just going to fill them all the way up to the top. I feel like that can't hurt anything. So like I said, you're not supposed to leave this stuff in after you do this. That's not the point of it. That's kind of what a lot of people do. I saw online. So after I did my own research, I found that's not quite correct. But anyway, we'll just try and get it charged up. We'll try and light the truck off with this solution, see what happens. So I'm gonna get doing this. We'll slap it on a trickle charge at 2 amp, and we'll just have to see. Alright, so we've had our battery on our charger for a couple of days now. It took about a day for it to actually start accepting a charge, but now it's doing good. And again, you want to run it on trickle charge, so we've been sitting at 2 amp. These chargers that are old, like this is some charger from the 70s or something that has a 6-volt option. These are really the best ones to use because they overcharge the battery. They're not smart chargers, so they'll just keep putting charge to the battery until you disconnect it. And you really want to overcharge these batteries to get the whole desulfating action going on. At least that's my understanding of it. But anyway, it's doing pretty good. Obviously I have the battery outside here so that if anything were to happen, it would blow up, nothing would go wrong. And I left the caps a little popped because it's going to get hot and the water is going to expand, and I can see that some did indeed run out. So anyway, I'm going to hook up our meter here and we're going to see just what it's sitting at. But I've already checked it, so I know we're pretty good. In the beginning, it had like, when I hooked it to the charger, it literally had like, there's no voltage like whatsoever. I couldn't even get a reading. So this is pretty impressive. So anyway, I'm going to get this all hooked up and we'll take a look. Alright, so here we have our battery and it's charging pretty good. We're up to, You can see our voltage there. We're well over 12 volts, so I think today I'm going to try and put it in that old truck out there and then see if the truck itself will crank over. But as far as this goes, I think we brought the battery back well enough to try and use it. So anyway, that's pretty impressive. So I guess if it's the end of the world and you're left on your own for years and years, I guess you can use old batteries this way. So it's pretty impressive. Anyway, we're going to get everything unhooked, unplugged, get these pushed back down. We'll take it out to the truck and see if we can light her off. So anyway, there you have it.
Please follow the instructions carefully while battery reconditioning. Always wear safety glasses and hand gloves while doing battery reconditioning. Since a battery releases toxic gas during charging process, which is injurious to health, that is why this process must be done in proper ventilated area. Do not do this process in the closed doors. There should not be any sort of sparking near the battery. Please always remove negative terminal first from the battery to avoid any spark. Always use distilled water. Never use acid or tap water. Always put the battery on the level surfaced. If surface level is not proper, then you will not be able to maintain water level.
Now I will show you the process for battery reconditioning.
Only use the additive after you have performed all the dead cell tests below. The additive will not restore totally dead cells ever. First of all, clean all the positive and negative terminals properly. Now open the caps of the battery cells and check the water level. If it is below the level, then maintain the water level with the help of hydrometer. Now hook up the battery on 10 ampere charger and charge it for at least 10 minutes. Check the battery voltage. If it shows more than 10 watts, then you can proceed for next test. And if it shows less than 10 watts, then the battery will not work. To know the status of the battery, you need to two tests mentioned below. Cell test. Be careful that the probes should be properly dipped into the water only and should not touch the plate while testing. To check the each cell of the battery, put positive end on the multimeter on the positive terminal of the battery and dip the another end into the first cell of the battery with the help of probe. Now, positive end of the multimeter should be dipped into the first cell and the another end should be dipped into the second cell. Then likewise, one end of the multimeter should be dipped into the second cell and the other end should be into the third cell. One end should be into the third cell and the other end should be into the fourth cell. Then one should be into the fourth cell and the other should be in the fifth cell. Then one end should be in the fifth cell and the other end should be into the sixth cell. Every time note the reading of each cell on the multimeter. This should be 1.9 volt to 2. If this reading is less than 1.9 volt or more than 2 volt, then the chances of reconditioning are less. An excessive reading usually indicates shorted cell. Specific gravity test. You need to do this test with the help of hydrometer. First of all, dip the hydrometer into the first cell and squeeze the ball. Then the water will come up in hydrometer tube. Do this 2 or 3 times and check the reading. If it gets stable at 1200 mark, then consider this particular cell is in good condition. Likewise, check remaining 5 cells' gravity. If any cell gives below 1100 mark, then that particular cell might be in a bad condition. Draw it in and out several times so that you will disturb it and mix it up. If you find the water in black or brown in color, then consider that the cell's in bad condition. Put this type of battery in a junkyard. Now, pour the 6 tubes of the battery chem pouch into the 6 cell of the battery. 1 tube will be in 1 cell. After pouring the battery chem additive, check the water level of each cell. If it is below the mark, then bring back to the optimum level. If the battery you are testing passes all the tests, you may then place it on the charger for a long slow charge. It is important to note that most of the batteries on the market today have lead calcium plates in them, and when they get discharged down to a very low voltage, they require a long slow recharge and charge it for 24 hours. During charging, keep the eyes on the volt and ampere meter of the charger. If you notice that volt and ampere of the battery are developing, then you are proceeding in the right direction. And if no development in the volt and ampere is there, then you might have forgotten to check the water level. May one cell of the battery is shorted, which you might have missed to check. There may be loose connection of the battery. Lesser the ampere of the battery after 24 hours. If the water level decreases, then add some distilled water and level the water. After that, again charge the battery for 24 hours. After charging the battery for 24 hours, remove the battery from the charger and let it be cool for another 24 hours. After that, hook up the battery on the load tester. Always put the positive clamp first to the battery and then negative. Then push the red button and check the voltage. If volt is not going below the 10.8 volt, then that means this battery is capable to give cranking current. So this type of battery is able to start your vehicle. Remove the battery from the load tester. You need to remove negative clamp firstly so that you can prevent any kind of damage. We have continuously found that after we add our chemicals and recharge the battery, further testing of the reconditioned units show that the specific gravity and cranking amps continues to improve. Long-term testing is now proving that batteries, even in very poor condition but not having any dead cells, are getting stronger while just sitting with our additive in them. However, it is important to give them a slow charge every other week. This way, you can recondition your old batteries and bring them to their working condition.
And welcome to Survival Warehouse Library, sponsored by survivalwarehouse.com. I'm John Melandrid. In this video, we're going to show you how to recondition a car battery. What you want to do is you want to check your voltage. If it's over 10 volts, then there's a really good chance you can recondition this. If, of course, it's at 12 volts and it just barely can start your vehicle, it's not holding the charge, 99% of the time this is going to work and it's not going to hurt your battery. The first thing you do is you pop your caps off. If you have a sealed battery, you're going to have to pull the plugs. Check your acid levels. Make sure that they're full. If they are full but it's not holding a charge, then you're going to have to remove this acid. Now the first thing you want to do is have clothes that you can destroy, just in case you get a little acid on you. Wear safety goggles, wear gloves, and always have baking soda nearby because this neutralizes acid. So these are the safety precautions that you have to take first. In order to do this, you take 3 cups of water that has been distilled at 150 degrees. Then you add 1 cup of Epsom salt. You can buy this at your general store. You pour in approximately 1 cup. And you stir. Now while the Epsom salt is dissolving and this is cooling down, it's time to take the acid out of your battery. Very carefully lift it up, hold it away, and pour the acid out. Once all the acid is out of your battery, just take baking soda, dump it into your acid water. That will neutralize it, and that way you can dispose of this safely. Now that the Epsom salt has been dissolved, and this is at room temperature, you can very carefully fill up your cells. Once it's completely filled, wipe off your excess. Put back on your caps. Secure them well. Then you're going to want to take and just kind of shake your battery. So now that it's all been shaken, made sure everything has been coated in there, you want to take and put this on a 12 volt, 2 amp trickle charge. The lower the amps, the better, because you want this to slowly charge up. This will take approximately 24 to 36 hours to do. But always remember, when you're charging a battery, pop these caps and just let them sit there, because it does create gas. And so for safety reasons, you just want to lightly put them on there and charge it up slowly. Once it's charged up 100%, even then, you could take and put it aside for a day, test it to make sure that it's holding a charge. And this works 99% of the time. You can actually do this up to about 4 times before it just won't work any longer. That should do it, and I'll see you on the next video.